All right, so finishing off in the book of Hebrews 10 and 16, I had to finish off a lot later, so I should have made this part two, but either way, Hebrews 10 and 16, this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days. So the days that the Lord is talking about has already passed. The Lord already made his covenant and his agreement that he would do these things for us. And its fulfillment is what we're waiting on. It's fulfillment of that promise. But we can believe on the Lord's promises. He is faithful to who promised, the scriptures tell you. Save the Lord, I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. So the Lord going to establish us in a space in which we will never be able to go off. And this is what brothers talk about when we say if we hold on and hold them fast, and if we keep persevere, if we overcome, the Lord's going to sup with us, deal with us on a higher level by changing our bodies, making us new, making us special, in which we'll also have these laws in our inward parts, meaning that we won't be able to go off, commit iniquity or sin again. It says, in their minds will I write them. So we have this idea of AI or chips working on your brain and controlling your mind control. Well, Esau is just trying to take a page out of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua's book, because he's going to establish his covenant people with the laws in their inward parts. And if you cannot sin against your power, there's no reason for him to jack you up or persecute you or chastise you in that day. So we're talking about the end of all chastisement. It says, in their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. And where remission of these is, there is no more offering of sin. So that time is going to be done away. We're going to look back and say we used to sin. We used to sin. We used to transgress the laws. We used to have to fight to keep the laws. Our bodies didn't want to keep the laws. Our minds was plagued against us. They used to think wicked and evil thoughts, and we'd have to rebuke them constantly. But now we have this truth in our inward part, and it never departs from us because it's a part of us now. Exodus 34:12 says, take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. So again, the Lord wanted it to be known that even though he's sending us amongst these nations who he created, we're still not to be like them. We're not to be aligned with their principles. We're not to be aligned with their doctrines. We're supposed to be separate and holy. Leviticus 18:2 says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am the Lord your power. So the Lord chose to deal with a specific nation, and he chose to be powerful over us. All right, Lord and ruler over us. So as a Lord and ruler, or as a father is to a child, he chastises the ones he loves. So the Lord set us up as an example of what happens when, you break the covenants of the law. And so since we have been made the example, we'll also be made the example of perfection. And that's what the laws written in our inward parts is going to do for us. So none of these situations will have to happen again. And the Lord won't have to say keep his laws, because we'll be ready made to do that, designed to do that, newly created to do that. Isaiah 1:25, and I will turn my hand upon thee and purge away thy dross and take away thy sin. So the Lord sees it fit that he restores us. And the way that we need to be restored is by being purged. And that process of purging something is very rough at times. It's very, it's chastisement. You get purge. The word purge means to get rid of something or someone of unwanted quality, condition, or feeling. And in this situation, the Lord is purging the unwanted, or as we say here, undesirable people from amongst the group, the organization, his fold, and the flock. And then he's also written us of certain qualities and unwanted qualities that we have. So the Lord is doing that for us. He's cleaning us up, washing us up, And then he says, and I will restore the judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. So we got a great restoration to happen, right? To restore means to bring back. It says bring back a previous practice, custom, or situation, to reinstate, right? And the word reinstate means restore something to its former position or condition. So we were kings, and Esau laughs at that. They always mock when you on the ground. They mock the fool, or they mock the homeless man when he reaching out on the ground. And it's expected. These are our enemies. It's expected for them to laugh, mock, make our situation look not that serious, like we just a bunch of crybabies, can't get over something that happened hundreds of years ago and whatnot. We're vain, we're seeking reparations, right? The whole desire for our people to be restored to our previous and more perfect state is being mocked and laughed at and scorned at by our enemies. And so it's very telling that they would come out and make videos about the condition of Jake and why we in the condition, 2/3 of our people is in the condition they in, where they want to, be they're criminalized, or they want to be demons. They call themselves demons. They want to be hoes, the culture, the vibe. But they will never take fault in that. They will never point the finger. But the scriptures lets us know that not only is the Lord going to restore us, but he's going to cause us to get up over our enemies that had a hand in our downfall. Esau, Edom, and the rest of the nations. And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her commerce with righteousness. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. So it comes down to those that forsake the Lord. It doesn't matter how well off you are now, how incredible your life and your life story is, or how messed up your claim to fame was rags to riches. If you are part of that transgressors and sinners that hasn't been redeemed by the time of judgment, well, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be consumed with that lake of fire, and that pitch and that sulfur and that ash that the Lord has reserved for all sinners and transgressors in America and Babylon. All right? But the ones who are restored at first, and it says restore, we know that means go back to the previous, your previous condition. The previous condition is we serve the Lord lock, stock, and barrel wholeheartedly. And now look at us, we've fallen from that. Isaiah 41, comfort ye my people, saith the Lord, save your power. Speak ye comfortably to the Jerusalem, and cry unto her. And that's why you have prophets, to cry unto her, cry out. The word church, iglesias in the Greek, cry out. It says that her warfare is accomplished. And the brutality and the warfare and the struggle that has plagued our people in this country is going to be over. It's going to be accomplished. It's going to be finished, right? You don't necessarily think of slavery as an accomplishment, but in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, when it comes to the judgment that he put upon us, which was slavery, in the form of slavery and many other things, when you think about it, the accomplishment is just that it's finished, it's over with. All right, we went through it. The Lord has judged us. It is through. So eventually that cry that we had going up is for the mercy that the Lord finish our judgment and then judge our enemies. It says that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. And there it is, that we have been set up and commissioned to cry and comfort the people of Israel that we already got, and we were granted our judgment. Let me check this out in the NLT. It says, comfort my people, says the Lord. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem. Tell her that her sad days are gone and her sins are pardoned. Yes, the Lord has punished her twice over for all her sins. So there's no having to keep going through slavery, having to keep being destroyed. The Lord is done. He's finished. It's accomplished. Now we can breathe. Now we can go back to celebrating and getting into our real service for the Lord. And I use that word celebration loosely. You know, the celebratory reasons that we have is just that we have this comfort in this word and this truth that when we look outside and see our people degrading themselves and destroyed utterly pretty much in their mind, we could still find comfort in the fact that the Lord is going to, that's a part of the judgment of the Lord that's going to be accomplished in these very days we in. So we won't have to see this much longer. Last scripture, 2 Timothy 3 in verse 10, it says, "But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of light, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra. With persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me." So the Lord has a way to deliver you out of all persecutions, perils, situations, and conditions, and able to restore you back to your perfect state, a more perfect state. So his promises are going to come true, you know, and we just got to wholeheartedly believe in them. Sometimes you're in the midst of a situation, it's hard to do that. However, you got to struggle and fight to do that. It says, "Yea, and all that live godly in Yahweh shall suffer persecution." I'll read it again. "Yea, and all that live godly in Yahweh shall suffer persecution." So it ain't about the fact that, you know, you live in godly, why is it happening to you? No, it's right there. And that's why, you know, we get on Christians so much, because when it comes to persecution, they run, they flee. All right, they got that that spirit that Paul was speaking about. You have not been resisted on the blood. Like they would never assume that they're supposed to be going through harsh situations. You know what I mean? And for them that do assume it, they just got their doctrines all crossed up and wrong. They don't know if they're going to live forever. They don't know if they'll die and then go to heaven and live in heaven. They don't know where heaven is. They don't know what hell is, and if it's underground with devil with a pitchfork. Their doctrine is all messed up in shambles. No wonder why they go back confused. They leave confused more than they came in. But you're going to suffer if you're truly part of this, the elect, the Lord's chosen out of the nation of Israel, who's going to be redeemed. And if the Lord is supping with you, helping you understand these scriptures and sending you prophets who you hear and who you're getting edified and fed from, then you're in a good position to be delivered, because all you have to do now is have that faith. You're being taught. Now you have to have that faith to go along with this wisdom and this knowledge and this understanding, so that could be the stability of the times. But the godly, that live godly in Yahweh shall suffer persecution. So we don't run from it. We ask the Lord to sustain us in it until that day come and that hour come where we tempt it, and the Lord won't tempt us above measure. So we still have to be restrained from passing out and fainting, so to speak, or giving in. You know, you still have to reject the MOTB. You still have to not reject the name of the Lord. You still have to lean upon him and as being your rock and your foundation and your refuge in times of trouble. You do that with the name. You do that with doing his work. All right, being a yoke fellow, a true yoke fellow of the Lord. So, Lord willing, this video is edifying. Till next time, shalom.